All right, thanks so much for joining us once again. On the bright side, I want to continue talking about stomach acid, hydrochloric acid, the major component of digestive juices. Stomach acid is important stuff, real important. You're going to get some stomach acid support if you get on the Youngevity Ultimate Enzymes. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can use Swedish bitters. You can use herbs like peppermint and gentian. All of these can help stimulate the secretion of stomach acid. Stomach acid is super, 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 super important. Number one, it's involved in the activation of enzymes, especially the enzymes that break up protein. And stomach acid itself helps break up protein. That means without stomach acid or under conditions of stomach acid deficiency, proteins from meat and from dairy and from eggs, especially high protein foods, without stomach acid, these foods can actually literally enter into the digestive tract, enter into the intestine in an undigested form, and from that point they can potentially get into the blood and into the general circulation. When pieces of undigested protein get into the blood and the circulation, they can activate an immune response, and that potentially means any autoimmune disease you can think of. Hashimoto's disease and Graves' disease, which are the large percentage of thyroid disease, is especially likely. According to the classical medical textbook on thyroid disease by Werner and Ingbar, that's W-E-R-N-E-R, and Ingbar, I-N-G-B-A-R. It's the classic medical textbook on thyroid diseases, all thyroid diseases. According to Werner and Ingbar, 1/3 of patients with autoimmune thyroid disease have issues with deficiencies in stomach acid. And of course, from thyroid disease, all disease is possible. The thyroid is the jumping off point for any disease you can name, including the biggies, cancer and heart disease. Low stomach acid can create changes in the intestinal environment too. One of the key components of overall health, and it's one we haven't talked a lot about on this program, but we sure will be in the coming weeks and months. One of the key components of overall health is bacteria that live in the gut. The importance of these bacterial colonies that are mostly in the large intestine and to a certain degree in the small intestine as well, the importance of these bacterial colonies cannot be overstated. These bacteria are one of the major keys to health and the lack of health as well. And as goes the health of these bacteria, so goes the health of the digestive system, and then so goes the health of the entire body. In fact, this little 1, 2, 3 from the from bacteria to the digestive tract to the whole body, this 1, 2, 3 is the core of a huge percentage of what we call degenerative disease. When the stomach is not producing enough acid, we run the risk of something called SIBO, S-I-B-O, SIBO, which stands for Small Intestinal Bacterial Overgrowth, and it can cause huge problems. Typically, small intestine bacteria are held in check by stomach acid, and under conditions of deficiency, stomach acid deficiency, these bacteria can grow like crazy. It's not unusual to have double the amount of bacteria in the small intestine if you're dealing with achlorhydria, low stomach acid, hypochlorhydria, achlorhydria, low or no stomach acid. With SIBO, S-I-B-O, you're going to have problems with sugar metabolism. You'll probably end up craving sugar. You can have brain fog issues, and certainly there's going to be a lot of inflammatory factors going around. And let me tell you something, folks. All disease is inflammatory disease. All degenerative disease is inflammatory disease. Long-term inflammation means a greater chance of any disease you can name, including cancer, including heart disease, including strokes, including blood clots. And of course, if you go to the doctor with an issue with clotting blood or thick blood, you're going to probably get Pradaxa, because Pradaxa means progress. What do you think the likelihood is that any doctor is going to think of SIBO when you get treated for blood clots? Pretty much zero, unless you're lucky enough to have a medical detective for a physician. Bloating, gas, belching, cramping, any digestive discomfort, heartburn, loose stools, intestinal permeability, leaky gut syndrome, pretty much anything that can go wrong in the digestive system can be initiated by SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which itself can be caused by nothing more than low stomach acid. I hope this is hitting home, people. Stomach acid, something as simple as stomach acid and something as simple as replacing stomach acid with the Youngevity Ultimate Enzymes, betaine hydrochloride, apple cider vinegar, Swedish bitters, peppermint, gentian, herbal materials of all kinds. Anything that stimulates stomach acid can be a critically important strategy for helping avoid the cardiologist's office or the cardiologist's knife. Stomach acid is also required for mineral absorption, especially calcium absorption. Only God knows how much grief is caused by taking calcium supplements with low stomach acid. You know what happens when you take your calcium supplements and you don't have enough acidity going on to free that calcium out of the supplement and to keep it free, to keep it dissolved? If you're taking calcium supplements and you're not making enough stomach acid, the calcium very likely is not going to make it into a cell where it's supposed to do its work. Calcium that doesn't make it into a cell because it hasn't been dissolved because of low stomach acid can deposit in tissues and glands and potentially even in cholesterol in your arteries. If you're taking a calcium supplement and you're not absorbing that calcium supplement because of low stomach acid, you are running higher risks for calcification of all the tissues of your body, including the heart. And there's lots more to talk about when it comes to stomach acid. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll continue our discussion on achlorhydria, hypochlorhydria, and heart disease when we come back from our break. We'll be back with more good health information right after this. Don't go away. We're talking about hypochlorhydria, hypo for low, chlorhydria for hydrochloric acid, low hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Something as simple as deficiencies in hydrochloric acid can wreak havoc on the rest of the body. Intestinal permeability is a good likelihood. If you have low stomach acid, problems with bacteria in the intestine can be associated with low stomach acid. Stomach acid is required for mineral absorption. It's required for iron absorption. It's required for calcium absorption. If you're taking calcium supplements and you're not making enough stomach acid, your risks for calcium deposits in various tissues of the body, including the heart, including the brain, including the various glands, your odds for calcification of these systems goes up. Of course, if you're taking calcium supplements and you're not making enough stomach acid, you're not getting the calcium either. Fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins D, E, A, and K, all require stomach acid too. Stomach acid is important for helping the body release helping the digestive system release nutrients from vegetables. Without a low pH, without an acid stomach, without stomach acidity, these precious nutrients, phytonutrients that are found in plants, many of them precursors to vitamins, many of them anti-inflammatory themselves, many of them nutrients that support growth and repair and protection, especially of the heart, especially of the skin. Many of these precious nutrients will not get processed and absorbed out of plants, out of vegetables, if you're dealing with low stomach acid. And then, of course, there's the whole B vitamin connection. It's much more difficult to absorb B vitamins if you're not making enough stomach acid, especially the B vitamins that lower cardiotoxic, heart-toxic homocysteine, vitamins B6, B12, and folic acid. And without stomach acid, because stomach acid secretion occurs relatively upstream in the digestive process. Without stomach acid, there are lots of subsequent steps in digestion that can be compromised. Gut bacteria, bile, the pancreas, pancreatic enzymes, these are all likely to be affected by deficiencies in stomach acid. Under low stomach acid conditions, under hypochlorhydric conditions, those little bits of undigested food that leak through into the general circulation that are associated with Graves' disease and Hashimoto's disease, those little tiny pieces of undigested material that get into the circulatory system can increase the odds of clotting diseases as well. Or they can impair the liver, and this can lead to blood pressure issues. Blood sugar metabolism can be affected as well. The adrenal glands and the thyroid can also be affected. And this is all just from deficiencies in stomach acid, folks. And once you go into thyroid problems, anything's possible, including autoimmune diseases, skin diseases, cancer, and heart disease. If you go to the cardiologist or you go to your GP for a checkup, more than likely all you're going to hear about, folks, is reducing your cholesterol. this absolute biochemical ignorance of how the medical model approaches cardiovascular health, and really all health, would be comical if it wasn't so tragic. If you're worried about cardiovascular health, if you have a history of heart disease, or if it's in your family, if you have high blood pressure or clotting issues, something as simple as supporting stomach acid using the ultimate enzymes from Youngevity, using apple cider vinegar, using Swedish stomach bitters, using gentian, and that's spelled, by the way, Gentian, using peppermint oil. All of these are strategies for supporting stomach acid, and they can be hugely important for dealing with circulatory problems, blood pressure problems, clotting issues, or heart disease. And then, of course, without stomach acid, you're not going to be able to absorb vitamin B12. And again, from there, anything's possible, especially and including elevations in homocysteine, and then heart disease, and then stroke, and then blood clots. If you suspect that you may not be producing enough stomach acid, and you'll know this by the manifestation of various digestive issues, including heartburn, gas, burping, bloating, bad breath, discomfort after eating, loose stools, constipation, diarrhea. These are all signs of potential deficiencies in stomach acid, and if you suspect that is a problem, get on betaine HCl, B-E-T-A-I-N-E HCl, which you'll find in the Youngevity Ultimate Enzymes. The betaine component of betaine HCl can be very important for lowering homocysteine, and the HCl component of betaine HCl can be very supportive for helping you make stomach acid. You can also finish off all your meals with a couple of shots of apple cider vinegar. You can use fermented foods like sauerkraut, or borscht, or miso, or tempeh. And by the way, digestive enzymes, proteases, protein digesting enzymes, you can always tell a digestive enzyme by the suffix ase, the end of a word. Proteases are digestive enzymes that help you break up protein. Lipases are digestive enzymes that help you break up lipids, fats. Amylases are digestive enzymes that help you break up carbohydrates. If you're taking digestive enzymes, you want to take your digestive enzymes with something acidic. Apple cider vinegar is great because not only will it help acidify your stomach, but it will also activate your enzymes. And apple cider vinegar, by the way, is also a great source of easy-to-absorb potassium, which itself is very cardiovascular friendly, very heart friendly. So get yourself some apple cider vinegar. There's a really neat book by Paul Bragg of Bragg's Liquid Aminos, which is another neat nutritional product. A really interesting book by Paul Bragg called Apple Cider Vinegar, Miracle Health System, and he talks all about the many uses of apple cider vinegar. It tastes pretty darn good too, by the way. A couple shots of apple cider vinegar using your digestive enzymes, or wash down your digestive enzymes with a couple of shots of apple cider vinegar after meals. That will help activate the enzymes. If you're one of those folks that never seems to feel satisfied after eating, you also may be dealing with malabsorption of nutrients secondary to low stomach acid. On the other hand, sometimes low stomach acid can cause a feeling of fullness after eating small amounts of food. If you eat a little snack and you feel really, really full, or you have a sensation of food sitting in the stomach much longer than it should, that can be a sign that you're not making enough stomach acid. One of the first things I look at when somebody comes into my pharmacy is their fingernails. Brittle nails, weak nails are a major indicator of malabsorption and can be a sign of potential hypochlorhydria, low stomach acid. And of course, all autoimmune diseases have a clear association to the digestive system, to digestive health, including deficiencies in stomach acid. Let me say that again. That is so important. The medical model has over 100 autoimmune diseases. And if you talk to anybody who has an autoimmune disease, I defy you to find somebody who's dealing with lupus or MS or any other kind of autoimmune issue that does not also have a digestive problem. And by the way, you could have testing done to check your stomach acid if you want to make absolutely sure that you're achlorhydric or you're not achlorhydric. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. I am Pharmacist Ben. Our number is 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. We're coming back with more good health information on the bright side right after this. Got a letter from Cindy. She says she's on hydrochlorothiazide, lisinopril, metoprolol. These are all heart drugs. Hydrochlorothiazide is a diuretic, old-time diuretic. Lisinopril is a kind of sort of diuretic, more high-tech, a little more high-tech than HCTZ, hydrochlorothiazide. And metoprolol is a beta blocker, a particularly unpleasant beta blocker. She says her mother's BP and hers and her daughter's will get out of control. She's 60 years old. She's weaning herself off of the HCTZ. She heard side effects can be diabetes. I was borderline last time I checked. I'm on the tangy tangerine, one world way. When I can get it, I have herpes that is constant, and this keeps it at bay. Viruxo, I don't know what that is, keeps it at bay. My son-in-law, Joe, is working with you with my daughter's gallbladder. I listen to you, and yes, I deal with diarrhea. I'm hoping you can give me some tips. Yes, lots and lots and lots of tips. Remember, the sicker you are, the faster you recover, or the faster you begin to recover. The body is so forgiving this way. The more deficient in nutrients it is, the faster it will absorb nutrients, and the sicker you are, the faster you will begin to turn it around. And it sounds like you got a lot of stuff here to work on, Cindy, and that's good news. So first and foremost, you want to address your digestive health issues. I'd be looking for foods. In fact, for everybody who's dealing with any kind of health crisis, number one, first thing you want to do, look for foods that are digestive triggers, foods that cause digestive systems. If you have diarrhea, that's great, because that's easy to associate with foods. Just find out what foods are triggering the loose stools. Those are foods that need to be eliminated. Everybody benefits by getting on a good probiotic supplement, especially if you already have digestive problems. Do you know 60 to 70% of a stool, a turd, you know what I'm talking about, 60 to 70% of that is dead bacteria. That means that getting yourself on a good probiotic supplement is a great way to take care of both constipation and loose stools. Get yourself on the best probiotic supplement you could find. I cannot emphasize that enough. That's important for everybody, but especially for you, Cindy, because you're already dealing with loose stools, and that's going to compromise your ability to get absorb nutrients. So eliminate digestive triggers, get yourself on probiotics, use liquid nutrients. These are extremely important, and make sure that you're getting especially enough B complex and vitamin C. There's so much more we can talk about with you, Cindy. I got your phone number here, and I'll be getting back to you. Hopefully, I'll be getting to you on the phone this weekend. And by the way, I get a lot of emails. If you want to try and send me an email, I do try to answer as many as I can. Put your phone number on your emails. It's much easier for me to reach you by telephone than it is to try to respond to everybody by writing. So make sure you put your phone number on there. Please don't be angry or disappointed if I don't get back to you. If something is really, really important, feel free to send me 2 or even 3 or 4 emails, and in the subject heading, put second or third or fourth attempt, and you'll get my attention a little bit more readily. That's Ben at ksco.com. Okay, got full lines. Our number is 866-582-9933. I want to get to the phones. Before I do that, I want to tell you how you can have testing done for stomach acid, for low stomach acid. There's something called the Heidelberg test, which is where they basically drop a capsule down your throat into your stomach, and then that capsule will actually transmit a radio signal to some kind of device that will read the pH of your stomach. Or you don't even really need to do some fancy test. You can save yourself a couple $100 and just test yourself by drinking some apple cider vinegar after you eat, and take 3 or 4 digestive enzymes, take 3 or 4 of the Youngevity Ultimate enzymes with the apple cider vinegar, and see if you notice an improvement in your digestive system, less bloating, less gas, less burping. In a hardcore case of hypochlorhydria, you may want to even try to get a prescription for hydrochloric acid drops, which you can get made for you at a compounding pharmacy. You put a couple of drops of this hydrochloric acid in water and drink it down after meals, and that's a really good way to make sure that you're replacing stomach acid. The betaine HCl that's in the Ultimate enzymes is not an exact duplicate of hydrochloric acid. Most people will notice some improvement, but if you got a hardcore case of achlorhydria or hypochlorhydria, you probably want to at least try to get a prescription for hydrochloric acid drops from your doctor. Take it to a compounding pharmacy, and they can make it up for you. Just put a couple drops in water, take it down after your meals, and make sure you use your acid supplements and your digestive enzymes together, because the digestive enzymes are activated by stomach acid. All right, lots more to talk about. We're going to continue talking about the B complex and vitamin B12 and cardiovascular health. Also, I want to talk about vitamin B6, really important vitamin for protein absorption and for helping the body break down and rearrange range amino acids. We will be getting to that next week as we continue our discussion on cardiovascular health alternatives, nutritional alternatives for cardiovascular health, ways to avoid the cardiologist's office, ways to avoid those nasty heart drugs, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, diuretics, ways to avoid those prescription drugs and use nutritional supplements that are much more benign, much more gentle, and even much more effective when it comes to restoring cardiovascular health. Drugs cannot restore your health, people. Drugs cannot restore your heart to health. At best, they can change test markers and make you feel a little bit better, but they're not going to restore your cardiovascular system to health. That is only in the realm of good nutrition, and that's why we're here on the bright side every day. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got lots of folks who want to talk to us on the phone. 866-582-9933 is our number. Without further ado, let's take our first phone call. Pat in Tennessee. What's up, Pat?
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
My husband is having issues with his skin. He seems to be developing hives from pressure being put on his skin. And I wondered if there was anything you could maybe suggest that we do.
Lots. Assuming that it's hives, and I'm just going to take your word for it that it's hives. Hives are not caused by pressure. Hives are caused by an immune response. Now, pressure may trigger something, but the skin should be able to handle pressure without breaking out in hives or any other kind of reaction. So you want to consider hives to be an immune system reaction. The bulk of your immune system is in your digestive tract, but there's also an immune system in your skin as well. In fact, between your skin and your digestive tract, you have most of your immune system. So whenever you're dealing with any kind of immune reaction on the skin, the first thing you want to do is figure out what is getting into the body that's activating the immune system. It's almost impossible for anything to get into the body through the skin. Occasionally something will get into the body through the respiratory tract, but more often than not, if you're dealing with an immune issue, you're dealing with a digestive issue as well. A couple ideas for you. One of the best things you could do is get yourself on stomach acid supplements. And I just went through about 20 minutes or half an hour of talking about how things can get into the circulatory system through the digestive tract under conditions of low stomach acid, and that can initiate an immune response. So getting on stomach acid supplements, the betaine HCl, you'll get those in the Youngevity Ultimate Enzymes. That's one strategy that you can take. Another strategy is to get on a good probiotic supplement. If you're not on one already, get on the best one you could find. 80 to 100 billion units a day. Use multiple strains of bacteria. But by far and away, the best thing you can do for dealing with any kind of immune response on the skin, which hives are, eczema is also an immune condition that shows up on the skin. Psoriasis is an immune condition that shows up on the skin. Some types of acne can be immune conditions that show up on the skin. Any immune condition that shows up on the skin, figure out what kind of foods are triggering it. Now, with hives, it's kind of easy because you can actually have a barometer, you can actually have a measurement that can tell you what foods are causing what problems. When he breaks out in hives, what did he eat a couple hours before? If he gets a flare-up of his hives, what did he eat a couple hours before? And those are foods that need to be eliminated. Focus on the digestive system, Pat. The skin recovers very, very rapidly. You should notice results pretty quickly once you start to make some digestive changes. All right, thanks for calling, Pat. We're coming back with more phone calls on the bright side right after this. We're talking to, actually, who are we talking to? We're done talking to Pat, but we got a bunch of folks on hold. Our number, by the way, 866-582-9933. Go to Wisconsin and talk to Frank. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Ben. I want to thank you for everything you're doing. Everything you're talking about today is hitting home with me. I had the GERD and everything, but I followed your program, and I haven't had any acid reflux problems since.
Awesome.
I'm losing weight like crazy.
Awesome,
I feel
Frank.
great.
Oh, that's so cool. Good job. You're the guy I've talked to several times, right? Frank the Cheesehead.
Oh, yeah.
Good deal,
Yeah.
Frank. I appreciate you calling and saying that. Thank you so much, buddy. I remember when I first started talking to you, you were a little skeptical. How long ago was that?
Everybody out there, a few months, like 2 months ago, and everybody out there, you know, has some gimmick or whatever, one pill wonder. And Ben, you are the real deal. Everyone listening out there should just try it at least 1 month. You will see results right away. This is no joke.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, man.
I try my protein. It tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup. I put the flax seeds, grind it up in there with the
you are the
fatty
man.
acids.
Frank, you're going to have your own radio show. You're going to have your own program here, buddy. Thanks so much for calling. I appreciate that, Frank. Thanks. God bless. Have a beautiful day, man. Thank you. That's awesome. I love success stories. I love hearing success stories. For you guys out there, you should know I get letters every day that are success stories, but I want to hear them on the radio. So if you've written me a letter telling me about how much weight you've lost or the medication that you're off of, you can help a lot of people by getting on the air here at 866-582-9933 and sharing your story. Thanks so much, Frank. I appreciate it. Moving on to Arizona, let's talk to Sarah. What's up, Sarah?
Hi, Ben.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How can we help?
I'm calling about my dad who has prostate cancer. He's on Toprol and simvastatin.
Okay.
So he has high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Cholesterol, the whole bit, huh?
Yeah,
Is he willing to work with you?
angioplasty years ago.
Is he willing to work with you?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
Well, bits and pieces.
Well, first of all, we haven't really talked too much about cholesterol and cholesterol lowering. The biggest reason why people suffer or deal with elevations in cholesterol is blood sugar and insulin, mostly insulin. Elevated insulin and elevated cholesterol go hand in hand. In fact, the cholesterol is just a sign, in many cases, that the insulin is off. So you want to treat your dad's condition, number one, as a pre-diabetic or a diabetic condition. Does he have diabetes, or does he know he has any diabetes in the family? No. Okay, well, chances are he's just undiagnosed. It's very unusual for somebody to be dealing with cholesterol issues and blood pressure issues, and God forbid cancer as well, without having some blood sugar problems. So work on his blood sugar. Use the whole lowering blood sugar, resensitizing your body to insulin techniques that we talk about all the time. Number one, get on more protein. Number two, get on essential fatty acids. The Youngevity Ultimate EFAs are a great product. If he likes capsules, use Udo's Blend. If he likes liquid, and wean himself, or help him wean off of refined sugars, refined carbohydrates, cereals, breads, potatoes, corn, anything, fruit juices, anything that's going to spike his blood sugar. That's the enemy. Anything that spikes his blood sugar is the enemy. It's unfortunate that he hasn't been checked for his blood sugar, but you don't even need to. You can pretty much assume that that's a problem. The simvastatin is a stupid drug. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but it just makes me angry that people take these cholesterol-lowering drugs under the advice of physicians who are supposed to know better. Lowering your cholesterol is not a pharmacological issue, people. Lowering your cholesterol is a metabolic, biochemical issue that you have control of without drugs. Lower your insulin, lower your blood sugar, using more protein, essential fatty acids, weaning yourself off of the cereals and the fruits and the fruit juices and the breads and all the things that spike your blood sugar. Your cholesterol will drop like a stone. And by the way, so will your blood pressure, because one of the main reasons why blood pressure goes awry is problems with blood sugar and insulin as well. So work on the blood sugar, work on the insulin. You can use a product called Sweeties from Youngevity, which is chromium and vanadium. You should use the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is the B complex, the B vitamin thiamine, vitamin B1, and the B vitamin niacin, vitamin B3 are super mega important for helping stabilize blood sugar and thereby helping lower cholesterol and lowering blood pressure. So is the B vitamin biotin, B-I-O-T-I-N, and so is vitamin B12. You'll get all those in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Oxygenation is also a very important strategy for lowering blood pressure, and oxygenation is a very important strategy for protecting yourself from cancer. A cancer cell is a cell that has not been utilizing oxygen, has basically been suffocating, and has turned into an alternative source of energy, which is sugar. So sugar and oxygen are both related to blood pressure and cancer and cholesterol. Lowering your sugar, improving oxygenation. There's zillions, really literally zillions of different strategies here. Essential fatty acids are very important. Omega-3s and omega-6s. Again, the Ultimate EFAs are a great product. There's no one magic bullet, but as close to a magic bullet as you can get for cancer and for high blood pressure is vitamin C. I would be using high doses of vitamin C, anywhere from 5 to 10 grams a day. Go to bowel tolerance, which means take as much vitamin C as you can without having diarrhea. Too much vitamin C will get you into loose stools. You want to take as much vitamin C as you can without going into loose stools, and that's called bowel tolerance. Vitamin E is also very important, especially with the essential fatty acids. I'd be using 400 international units of vitamin E a day. The mineral magnesium is also very important. You can find that in the Youngevity OsteoMag product. You want about 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of magnesium every day. There's so many more things you could do, but that's a great place for you to start. Last but not least, 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day. Everybody should be taking 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate a day, and that second word is picolinate, Picolinate. Actually, the last thing I'm going to tell you is if there's any digestive issues, any digestive conditions, any food triggers, anything that causes bloating, gas, or any kind of digestive problems, those need to be addressed. And of course, it wouldn't hurt you to get on hurt your dad to get on the Ultimate Enzymes, as well as a good probiotic supplement, 80 to 100 billion units a day, and look for multiple strains of bacteria. Thanks so much for calling. From Arizona, Sarah, let's see if we can get one more call in here. Randy in Texas. What's up, buddy?
I wanted to find out what you'd recommend for atrial fibrillation and high blood pressure.
Same deal.
Also have a issue with severe body cramps and sickness.
Okay, all of that is related. Atrial fibrillation is when the heart doesn't pump efficiently. It kind of shakes a little bit when it's trying to pump, and that can be due to a lot of things. But the fact that you have cramping associated with that and high blood pressure associated with that, I would tend to think there's something going on with your electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals that conduct electricity. When you have a deficiency in these electrically conducting minerals, these electrolytes, it can cause electrical problems throughout the body. Cramps can be a sign of electrical problems. Certainly, atrial fibrillation can be a sign, or any heart conduction, heartbeat problems can be a sign that the electrical conductivity is off. Use electrolytes, potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium. All of these are electrically conducting minerals, and there's lots of ways to get them. You can use the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's a great way to do it. Get yourself on vegetable juices. Get a Vitamix. It's a high-powered blender that you can throw your vegetables in there, top your veggies off with water, hit the button. It makes this delicious vegetable juice. If you leave the Vitamix on for 15 minutes or so, it'll turn that vegetable juice into vegetable soup. It'll literally heat the liquid up. It'll make it into a soup, and it's a great way to get electrolytes into your system. Instead of drinking straight water, in addition to drinking the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, squeeze lemons and limes and oranges into water and make yourself, and use the peels as well, and make yourself a kind of fruit-infused liquid. Don't add any sugar to it, and don't use really super sweet fruits because you don't want to mess up your blood sugar, and that's a great way to get electrolytes too. The B vitamins are also important for all electrical conductivity issues. You'll get those in the BTT and with fruits and vegetables too. Thanks so much for calling. Appreciate it, Steve. Appreciate all our callers and appreciate all our letter writers. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for Alex Jones next on most of these stations. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We will talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.